Yesterday, I was let go of my work because I spoke up on some issues. I brought them up a couple weeks ago, some very serious issues at my job that um, needed to be brought out into the light. Some other people were speaking about them and were bringing them to attention, and I felt it was very important to bring them up. And I thought, I've been working there for 7 years, and I thought that they would be well received, because it's not normal for me to speak up on a regular basis about things unless it's important. And my supervisor knows that. My supervisor always thanked me for the times that I spoke up about things or brought things to attention, which wasn't often, but there was a few times about minor things, asking questions or whatever. And so I didn't think that it would be ill received this time. But many people, I've heard from many people about issues, very serious issues at the job. And I was surprised that nobody brought it to attention. So I decided to. I brought it to attention the first time last week, and they had a meeting with me, and they acted like I was in the wrong to bring it up. And I said to them, I said, "Are you serious? Like, you don't want people coming to you for concerns like this? Like, it was serious concerns, and safety, like people being like, so it was considering like people's safety, like literally people's safety, and so then after a couple of meetings, like 2 meetings, they brought me in again yesterday, and I thought it was just to maybe resolve some more issues, to get more information, or I wasn't exactly sure what it was. But after 7 years, my head supervisor, he moved up. He moved up a notch, but he was my supervisor for mostly of the six years, well, all of the 6 years, and even into part of the 7th year. And he said that they had to protect the company, and protect the person that the issues were being brought up about. This person was a supervisor, which I would think would be even more serious, because they're in leadership, so they should be dealt with more harshly than just a regular person, because they should not be allowed to get away with stuff that could seriously harm others. And the supervisor said that my supervisor said that he has no ill will against me, no qualms, no issues with me or anything, that I'm a really good worker. But according to the company, that the head, you could tell he was just going through the motions, just doing what he was supposed to do. He got teary-eyed there for a little bit, and he told me he had to let me go, because I spoke up on an issue that was very, very important. And a lot of people are saying that with this new supervisor there, they're wondering about the health of the job, of the company, if they think it's going to go downhill. And I was just trying to speak up to help the company, because I was there from the beginning of when this new manager came in, and I saw how hard he worked for building the company up from where it was. And he said that they would allow me to collect unemployment, which I did not know when I went to file for that. I did not know that when you're let go from a job, or fired, or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know if this is a fire, and it was just they had to leave me go because I brought up an issue, that you can't collect unemployment, but they're allowing me to. So I did that as a precaution for now, just until something else opens up. I've been trying to get this Facebook or this YouTube page up and running so I can get some monetary funds coming, in, but I need to get 25 more likes in order to do that. But I just wanted to come on and just talk about this because it's been coming up so much recently about people who speak up about something important and then they get a negative result, like just Charlie Kirk. Like, he was speaking up about stuff that needed to be spoke about, and he wasn't doing anybody harm. He was just bringing light to issues, and he was willing to hear other people's opinions and stuff like that. And yes, he would speak up whenever things were false, or and people were making accusations or anything. And I didn't really follow him much. I didn't really know much about him. I knew a little bit, but I didn't really know much about him until his passing. And it seems like a lot of people have been like that. But it seems like ever since that, it has brought this light unto this issue of people having a backlash whenever they speak up for what is right. And this has to stop, and it's usually not with like leadership, like when leadership speaks up or anything. It's usually whenever it's like just the regular level of people, like for instance, I wasn't a manager at my job, I was a CDL driver, and I was one of the drivers there, so I was an equal, a driver, in the fleet of the trucks, so, and I was one that chose to speak up, and a lot of people, were coming to me more information and concerns and stuff like that. And I was just like, this needs to be, this needs to be dealt with, and this needs to be brought to light, so that it won't continue. And I, in the faith of the company, I really believe, I really truly thought that they would be thankful that I brought it up, be thankful and want to deal with it. Now, I don't know, what's going to happen and how it's going to be handled from, when I leave, but I really hope and pray that, that they're be willing to resolve, serious issues from here on out, or at least hear people out. And I think, a culture is being uncovered. This culture of, if you speak up, for what is right, then you will be banned, shunned. Like I've been living in Amish country for the last 7 years or 8 years or something, and I have been amazed just the amount of shunning amongst people. The stories I've heard of people being shunned because their pants were put on right. Like this 12-year boy was kicked out, by his grandpa, from his family. He wasn't allowed to see his family because his pants were put on wrong. Somebody else because their bobby pin wasn't put in their hair right. Like, this is just nonsense. Like where does this power come from? Like, where you can just go up to somebody and say, you shouldn't have brought that up, or you're not doing this right, or you're not doing that right, so we're not going to communicate with you. You're going to, we're going to kick you out of the family. We're going to fire you. We're going to, we're going to put threats. Like, where does this come from? And I believe I've been seeing that, we have allowed it. We've been silent. We've been more silent than we should have been. We need to speak up when things are wrong. It doesn't mean, like going over and pointing the finger at everything and everyone, but whenever there's a serious issue that needs to be dealt with, we need to speak up, and I'm thinking of, when cell phones, came about, and whenever people, for instance, people would be beat up on the street, you'd see these people standing around taking a video of it instead of helping. Like, that didn't help at all. The start of cell phones, and just people wanting a view, and it's just nonsense. I think of the movie Ants, where these grasshoppers, these big, they're like what, how many times, 100 times bigger than the ants. They were dominating these ants, but the ants finally woke up and realized that they were stronger than the grasshoppers together. You know, we gotta realize that. We gotta stop isolating ourselves and stop thinking that, you know, that it's just us. We gotta stop thinking that we just gotta protect ourselves, and we gotta realize that it's more than just us. That whenever we speak up, like when I spoke up, I wasn't speaking up just for myself. I was speaking up for the safety of others, you know. And we gotta be willing to speak up for the safety of others. If we see something wrong, you know, we should speak up. We should say something, you know. And if consequences happen, you know, so be it. Like, I mean, if America has got to that point where it's so bad that if you speak up for what is right, that you get negative consequences, what in the world has happened to America? Like, what? Like, I grew up in an area where people spoke up all the time about what wasn't right. Like if you did something wrong, you get a side eye from somebody, you know, like each other kept each other in check type of thing, you know. And you were getting like, I guess you could call it judged, but judged in the right way. Like, hey, you know, that wasn't right. You're not, you know, that wasn't something good. Like, you know, we kept each other in line type of thing, you know. And it wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't in like, I hate you or anything like that. It was just like, that's unacceptable, you know. And where is that gone? You know, where is that gone when we can't even speak up and say this is wrong, you know, without even, like today there's a No Kings rally. Like, where are the kings? Like, I don't get it, you know. And people are saying that that Trump's dominating, you know, America. Like, you know, people voted, you know. Like, I'm if they want to do No Kings, they should have done this during Biden's time, whenever people are saying that they allowed dead people to vote and stuff like that, you know. And but you know, I mean, and you know, I mean, it's America. They have a right to do that, you know what I mean? And like, people aren't freaking out about it. It's just, I don't think anything's really happening about it. I think more people are seeing the truth, you know, about what truly is going on, you know. But with people actually believing that there's a king, you know. And people are saying that if there's a king, then they want to be allowed to do that. But anyway, so it's like, people can speak up about what is wrong, but whenever somebody goes and speaks up about what is right, or defends something or someone in the right, like they want to try to protect somebody, they will try to speak up for somebody who's being you know, who's doing something right, but they're being, you know, bullied or whatever. Why is that wrong? Why is that wrong? But why is, you know, protesting for No Kings, why is that right? Like, what has happened to America? What has happened? Like, we have to stand up. We have to be willing to be bold. We have to realize that this is not only coming for people like Charlie Kirk, you know, the Amish, the Mennonite, you know, like leaders, singers, like you know, people in public. It's not only it's coming for us, people. Like, we gotta be willing to speak up. Like, if we can't speak up for ourselves, if we can't speak up for others, like, if you won't speak up for others, then who will be there to speak up for you and have your back? You know, I mean, we gotta realize that, you know. And I'm not saying go around and like bully everybody and, you know, have to confront everything, but when there's something wrong, you know, seriously wrong, like, we gotta be willing to speak up for what is right. And we gotta create that culture, like in the Ants movie, you know, make people realize that, you know, that no, we're not here for being, you know, bullied because of speaking up for something, you know, that's right, you know, speaking up for something that's right, you know, or doing something right. We're not here to be bullied for that. As people, we gotta be willing to speak up for what is right. The time is now. Like, if we don't do it now, when will we? Like, it's just gonna, if we don't speak up as free citizens of this country, of America, and I don't know what it is in other countries. I see sometimes some other countries watch these videos, but like, if we don't speak up while we have the opportunity, while we still have the freedom, what will happen? What will happen? Like, Angel Studios has a movie out in theaters right now, called Truth and Justice. I don't know if that's right, Truth and Justice or something like that. And it's exactly what, like, this one guy spoke up for what is right, you know. It's like, we gotta not be afraid to speak up, you know. It's time to be, It's time to open our mouths. It's time whenever we see something that is wrong, you know, like if we're walking down the street and we see a kid being bullied, it's time for us to step in there and to you know, step in for that kid being bullied, you know? Like if we see, you know, somebody robbing, you know, the grocery store, we got to like call the police, like do something, you know? And we got to do something. We got to stop looking at our phones all the time and just ignoring the world. You know, we got to realize that we are creating what we are seeing. We are creating this no speak up mentality that we are seeing in America, and we got to stop it. We got to stop it. Okay, well, I hope you all guys have a good day and enjoy this beautiful weather. Here it's really, really, really nice out. It's like 70 degrees out. It's really nice. I haven't taken my plants in yet because it hasn't been really below 40 yet. So I'm enjoying the time of being able to have the plants out. And yes, my dog wants to say hi. You want to say hi, River? You say hi? You say hi? He wants to get up on my lap. So, okay. We'll sign it off. A Cultured Life. See y'all. Bye.